It does not matter how many health and fitness professionals I talk to. Every single one of us has clients, has patients who literally suffer from food cravings to the point that it completely derails their program. They fall off the proverbial wagon, right? Like they hear the voices, the chocolate cake is calling their name, all they can think about is pizza. How would it be if we could come up with a way, right, to help you empower them not just to prepare for the food cravings, but actually take a position where they can actually crush it? I think that that would really create a win-win situation for everybody involved. And for you as a health and fitness pro, it's going to be something that will set you apart from the average Joe. You want to talk about ROI, it's going to increase your personal and professional branding and end you up with a lot more moolah in your pocket. Sound good? All right, this is what you need to know. It's all about brain chemistry. Before you freak out, I'm going to keep this really, really simple. It's going to be easy to understand. Just track with me here for 1 second. All right, this is in direct relation to food cravings and how you can then pass on this information in a very practical and applicable way for your clients to help them be successful over the long term. All right, now brain chemistry 101. This is very simple. Every single brain chemical, right, like the dopamine, the serotonin, the norepinephrine, all right, it's produced in the body. Every single person has different amounts of it. Everybody different or produces different, ratios of it depending on things that we eat, things that we drink, any medications, any supplements, anything that you inhale. So anything that comes into your body changes body chemistry, specifically brain chemistry, and also activities and day-to-day life activities. So whether it's activity on the physical fitness front or lack thereof, where people work, circle of friends that they hang around, any kind of routine that they have, everything that makes a person's life routine more or less, like their normalcy, creates the brain chemicals, and it also creates like a stabilized range, if you would. Now, when you begin a new, in this case, diet, if you want to call it that, you're cleaning up your eating habits. They're switching from how much ever processed food they're eating or high sugar food or whatever that looks like, and they're flipping on to a healthier way to eat. Barring the obvious things like you're drastically cutting carbs or you're drastically, cutting their calories, when you change what somebody is eating from processed food, higher carb food, higher sugar food, and they're on a clean and healthy track, they usually do pretty good in the beginning, but then they get somewhere into day 7 to day 14, we usually see a heightened amount of these food cravings. And it goes back to the element of brain chemistry, in that whatever that person started out, in this case with their nutrition, day to day, whether they had a fast food diet, whether it was they only ate one time a day, when you change what they used to do until what you're programming them to do now, increasing meal frequency, carb ratios, like all that stuff, what happens is it causes actually a chemical shift within those brain chemicals, percentage wise and like concentration wise. And the body really doesn't like change. So even though before the way that they were operating wasn't necessarily in alignment with a healthy meal plan or a healthy way of eating, or it's not going to support any kind of exercise or performance goals, that was their day-to-day normal. And when you flip it, all of a sudden the brain chemicals are in different proportions because the different foods, right, are creating different chemicals in different proportions. The body doesn't like that. It doesn't recognize it as positive. All it recognizes is that it's a major difference from what used to happen. And what will actually happen then is those tricky little brain chemicals will then induce high levels of cravings, whether they show up as the voices in their head of the cake was calling my name, or all of a sudden all they can think about is pizza. However it actually shows up for them is due to the body trying to restore what it knows as the normal set point, regardless of whether or not the set point was healthy or not. Okay, so that's a rundown about what's actually happening. Now, how you take that and apply it for your clients is, let me remind you, this is the information age. So people today really like to have content and really like to understand why we make the recommendations that we do. And I found without a shadow of a doubt, when they have a little bit of understanding as to what's going on inside of here, as to then why we make recommendations for, what we put down, they're more likely to take it as part of their own operations, and they have more ownership in it, and they're more likely to succeed. So what I'm saying is, teach them in the way that your client understands this, but enable them to, or empower them to understand that when the cravings come, they should be expectant of it, all right? And then when the cravings come, it's merely just the brain chemicals trying to steer them and cause them to regress in their former ways. When they have that bit of understanding that it's expected that the cravings will come, you've already put them in the driver's seat to take power and have, some kind of defensive tactics in place so that they know how to navigate it in advance, and they're not acting more reflexively on the complete defense and just trying to tread water, and either are not successful and totally fall off the boat and you never see them again, or they regress weeks and weeks and you have a lot of extra work to do to make up where you initially left off with them. So I hope that helps you. All right, leave me some comments below and let me know what you think. Good luck.